Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to today's episode of Sadie Has No Friends. Be sure to click that automatic download, which I only remind you, and I will you take a minute to check because now I'm paranoid because mine was set to automatic download and then I went and none of them had been downloaded. What happened was if you just push the play button on it, it will not count towards the downloads. And damn it, I'm thirsty for the downloads, so I got to get them. And so I just want to remind you before we get started to please jump on and check that. And then download every single one of them bitches because we're almost to 170 episodes. And so I want to get to that 100,000 download mark. And we're getting there, guys. We can make it. It's going to be a big celebration. So let's jump in. To get started, there's different things that I want to talk about. So I'm going to break it up into different things, or else my mind just will kind of scatter and go into all different kinds of places, which is a shocker. But it's just me and myself today. And so these are the things that have been in my mind that I've been reading about and thinking about, and honestly have been the algorithm has been sending me these things. And the Monster series on FX. Now, it all started. Do you guys remember the Jeffrey Dahmer? That was the first of the Monster series. And it had Evan Peters in it. He's in all those American Horror Story shows, and he's an amazing actor. I have to honestly say, every person that I know watched Dahmer, the Monster episode. They loved it. I could not get past the first episode. It was so troubling. It was so disturbing. It was so upsetting. So anytime like I see a meme or a clip, I don't know what anybody's talking about because I was too chicken to get through it. I will say that I did in fact make it through the Menendez one, which is the newest of the series of monster. I don't know. It's Ryan Murphy, and he does all the American Horror Stories. This is kind of a different it's kind of a different area that he's branched out in, bringing you these real life stories of these murders that happen. So I decided to sit down, watch the Menendez. It was rough. It was rough, but here's why I liked it. If you're on the fence about watching it, why I liked it was halfway through the first half of the episodes, you're kind of being fed this narrative of these poor kids, and they've been abused, and it's just terrible. The parents are awful. The dad, he's a big wig for RCA Records. They say that he was the one that discovered the band Menudo, which is still going on, which oddly enough, sidetrack with this show about the Menendez brothers. One of the original members of Menudo has since come out, since the documentary came out, to say that Jose Menendez, the father, actually molested him. Now, that's allegedly, so we can't stand by that, but that's going to be going through the court system soon. And so we're going to be able to see a little bit of that. Why I find this incredibly interesting is that these murders happened in the early 90s, and they're saying with the release in 2024 of this new series that kind of shows both sides of the stories, because like I said, the first half, it shows the sides of the two boys, and you kind of see that the parents are kind of assholes. The dad's weird. He's probably doing some molestation. That's
allegedly. And then
what they're saying. And then the second half, so when you've already convinced yourself like they are victims and why are they in jail, then they flip it on you. The second half, you get the parents' perspective of exactly what, they were going through. And they are just struggling with these two spoiled, bratty kids, which this is an actual thing because they say that after they killed their parents, which was very gruesome. Spoiler alert. I think everybody knows how they were killed, but I'm going to give you the details because I watched the show. The husband and wife, Kitty and Jose, they were sitting in the television room watching a movie. They say that the sons came in from behind them and they shot the dad in the head, and then they shot the mom, which, imagining it like in 1994, it was just gruesome. But then now we live in a time where it can pretty much be reenacted with CGI and different effects. And I mean, they show everything in the death scene. So that may be a little rough. So much so that I didn't even know that Lyle, the older brother, walked out at one point because the mom just wouldn't die. That poor woman. She's probably stayed up at night and breastfed, and then her kid goes back and reloads the gun and comes back for her. The sons later said that she never abused them. Their mom never abused them, just the dad, but she covered for the dad. And they also said that they didn't think she could survive without the dad, and so they thought they'd just put pity on her and they'd shoot her. It looked rough. If you're gonna watch the show, if you're like me and you're like the gore gets a little much, again, I couldn't watch the first one with Dahmer because it was just I just couldn't even fathom it. But the second one, it was bad. But I bring this all up because I was reading today, it's out on all these news different outlets that are saying that the family of the Menendez brothers, so their aunts and their uncles on both sides, on Kitty's and Jose's sides, they're all standing by the boys. They all believe them, which says a lot. And they also say that they've been in jail for way too long. So they're thinking a lot of people, a lot of speculation coming out that they may be getting a retrial or they maybe get acquitted of all this because now new information is coming out, like the Menudo member that came out and said he was kind of pervy with me.
Allegedly.
And so I think at one time, now, was that a dumbass thing that they did where they killed their parents? Yes, horrible. And was it also really stupid of them to go out on a shopping spree after, you idiots? Yes, I love laying in my bed and watching these crime shows and just having nothing. I just want to tell them they're an idiot for everything that they do, even though I'd probably make 10 times more mistakes. That's why I don't kill anybody, folks. But they're saying that they could be set free. And the next few weeks might be a big one for the Menendez brothers, which doesn't that make you think, like, could you imagine going into jail in 1994 and then coming out? All the different things that have changed. And I'm sure, they know what an iPhone is. They have TVs and stuff, right? I don't know how jail works, but there are just so many. Okay, here's something to me that I just still can't get over. I still can't get over the fact that in this day and age, you could feel like Taco Bell and it could be 11 o'clock at night and there will randomly be somebody that you just push a button. You don't even have to talk to anybody. You push a button, some rando will go and do the one because you're too lazy, and they will run out and they will get your food for you and bring it back. That's what Grubhub is, guys. That's what I just explained to you. It was Grubhub. Could you imagine they're going to be walking out of jail knowing that they can now order any kind of food they want at any time? That's shocking to me. I mean, it makes me think of other things that are going to be shocking, which leads me to say, this is my next prediction. Much like Gypsy Rose, who murdered her mom and then she went to jail, then she got out. Guess what happened immediately? She got a reality show. And I did watch some of it. It was very messy and I loved every minute of it, but then I kind of got bored with it. I think that they're going to be doing that with the Menendez brothers. I do think they're going to be set free. This is just me speculating, and this has nothing behind it. I have no information. I am just talking. I think they're going to get off. I think they're going to get out. And I think they're going to get a deal, like some sort of TV deal, a reality show deal. It pretty much essentially is them being introduced back into society after. And again, I'm going to go further into the future just because I'm this confident. I think one of them's going to be on Dancing with the Stars. I don't know if it's going to be Eric or Lyle, but it's true. That's where we're at in this world. That Anna Delvine or whatever her name is, she was just on Dancing with the Stars. She's the woman that they made a Netflix movie out of because she ripped off people left and right. I mean, thousands upon thousands of dollars. And then they put her on Dancing with the Stars and they bejeweled, they bedazzled the ankle monitor that she had to wear. 2024 has zero shame. So that's my prediction. The next installment of the Monster series, which seems pretty good so far. I've only seen one of the two. The next one I'm very interested in. Going to be based on the life of Ed Gein. Now, Ed Gein, the inspiration for Leatherface. And so you're going to be able to see exactly what happened. Now, here's kind of the shocker of that. If you take a look at the picture of Ed Gein, which I will put a picture on if you're watching this on video, I'll put all the pictures up so you don't even really have to do any Googling. I'll do it for you. I'll put all the pictures up, but Ed Gein, he's going to be played by the star of Sons of Anarchy, Charlie Hunnam. I think that's how you say his name, Hunnam. He's the hot guy from that motorcycle show, and he's going to be playing Ed Gein. And so the difference, I don't know how they're going to do it with movie makeup magic. The two actors that played the Menendez brothers, they pretty much look like the Menendez brothers. But they're going to have to be working miracles on this one. That's what's coming up in that Monster series. That is my prediction after watching the Menendez brothers show about what's going to happen. I tell you what, you guys, give me 1 to 2 seasons and one of those brothers, he's going to be Dancing with the Stars. The second thing that I wanted to jump into and talk about is something that makes me so sad. This completely bums me out. It's the fact that Joker 2, there's a French name to it, and no matter how many times I try to say it, I can't say it. I can't pronounce it the right way. So rather than sound completely stupid, I'm just going to say the Joker 2, the second movie. I thought Joker, the first one, was so good. It was so good. Joaquin Phoenix, he won an Academy Award for it because it was so good. And there were zero musical numbers in it, which, if you know me, I'm going to tell you one of my biggest pet peeves. I hate musicals. I hate them. And I shouldn't say that I hate anything because that's a strong word. But if I go to a show and people randomly break into song, I just want to die. I just can't deal with it. That every word is true. We went and saw the show Wicked in Denver. It was so much singing. It was so much. I don't understand why we can't just save a little bit of time and say, I'm very upset that you did that to me. And just because I'm a witch, but they didn't. They sang a song about it that lasted 12 minutes. Well, this is why Rotten Tomatoes is saying Joker, the second one, is possibly the worst movie of all time. Not only did it have a budget coming out of the gate of $200 million, so they brought back Joaquin Phoenix to play the Joker, and then they brought Lady Gaga in. I was like, damn, Lady Gaga, she's good because she did that movie with Bradley Cooper, A Star is Born. I was very impressed with her talent on that one. And then we get into this one. I can tell you, unless you are into 100% musical dialogue, you should not go and see Joker Part 2 because they did a swip swap on people and it's a musical. No one ever came out and said, not that I read, because I was salivating. I actually purchased the first Joker movie because I was so excited I thought it was so good. It was about mental health. It was about, rich people versus poor people and what do you do when the system is so broken? And it was just really good. I loved it. And then the second one is a fucking musical. It makes absolutely no sense, which is why they say that it is now being considered the worst film of all time with Rotten Tomatoes. Again, it had a $200 million budget. And guess how much money it brought in opening weekend? Less than $30 million. Okay. So at total, we are now close to the $50 million range. So they have lost more than $150 million. What was the number one movie at the box office this last weekend? And I know I'm a few days late, but that's just how I roll. I like to get all that firsthand news out of the way, and then I kind of come in with my opinion. But The Joker was not number one. It was not number two. It was the third movie. The second movie, a kid movie, I believe, is called Wild Robot. The first movie, this is interesting to me because it's the third of a trilogy. and it's a trilogy of scary movies, and I have not seen one of these, and I love scary movies, but the movie is called Terrifier, and it's Terrifier 3. That came in on top with $18.3 million. Now, here's why that's interesting to me, because in a lot of ways, it kind of just proves, is this proving that big budget, big celebrity movies really aren't hitting the sweet spot anymore? I feel like we've really failed. We had that whole Marvel decade, more than a decade of all these Marvel movies that were coming out, and bigger budgets was better. But now we're seeing more and more with these big budget movies that people don't really care. You don't have to be, I cannot name, I was going through IBM, what is it? IBMD Internet, no, IMDb. I was going through IMDb and I was looking at all the actors in the movie Terrifier 3, which is the number one movie in the country, and I didn't know any of them. So what does that say about big celebrities? This new Menendez show that I was talking about at the last part, the last topic I was talking about, the two actors, never heard of them before. So people are now saying big budget is out, and it's these small movies that are really going to hook people in, and big celebrities are out. The paydays of $70 million, like J-Lo used to get, they say those are going to be long gone as well. Do, 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 do. I know way too much about this stuff, and it's almost embarrassing. What else has been going on? This is another thing. This happened last night. It was the Victoria's Secret fashion show. It's been on 6-year hiatus for 6 years. And I think it's because we went through that whole, even if you're not a size 0, you're still sexy. And so they wanted to have all different kinds of women. And then after a while, people just kind of, it was such a big deal. I remember a time where the Victoria's Secret fashion show was like a big deal. And then they got rid of it. I can't believe it's been 6 years already. But last night they brought it back in all of its glory. Not only did they bring back all the usuals, which, if you know anything about Victoria's Secret, it's like Kendall Jenner and JJ Hadid and Bella Hadid, but they also had classic, like some of the OGs. Heidi Klum was there, Tyra Banks was there. And I don't want to say anything negative, but I thought Tyra she looked like she was trying so hard, and her wig was hanging on so tight, but I don't know. I just wasn't feeling it. Here's something that I found a little odd, and it happened twice. It happened 2 times. Heidi Klum modeled, which is very cool because she was one of the originals and she looks good enough to come back. But also modeling beside her was her daughter. I believe her name is, I want to say Lenny, but it's probably something like Lenai or something more beautiful than that. But let's just go with Lenny. Her and her daughter, they modeled lingerie together, and they took a bunch of pictures together. I found that odd because naturally I put myself next to my mother in those pictures, and I thought, oh my God, no one would tune in for that. Also, that wasn't the only mother-daughter duo. Kate Moss was there with her daughter modeling, Lila. Both of them were there, and not to be negative again, because I know that's not what it's all about anymore, but I think Kate Moss looked a little out of it. That should not be shocking to anybody. She's a little bit wobbly, and I don't think they picked the best outfit for her because she looked a little, I don't know, she didn't, wasn't great. Anyway, Gigi Hadid opened the show, and she said she did a little twirl that Taylor Swift taught her. I could not give 2 shits less about that, but that's what happened at the Victoria's Secret fashion show. Zing. My God, I'm disgusted, but I'm still so into this Gypsy Rose Blanchard situation, because it is never ending. It's ongoing. Gypsy Rose. I swear I don't just talk about murder stories. There's so much more to me. But let's just make that the focus of today, because we're already on a roll and we're running out of time. But Gypsy Rose is back in the news. One of the journalists was insightful enough to ask a question that I myself wonder about. With this baby that she's expecting, is she going to mention, like, what is she going to say about her mom? Is she going to say she killed her mom? Is she going to go into depth? Well, I was wondering that myself. So I was very excited when I saw that a reporter actually said to Gypsy Rose, like, hey, are you going to be saying anything about your mom, about how you kind of killed her and stuff? And she said, no, there will be no talk of her mother, also known as Claudine Dee Dee Blanchard, when her baby arrives. The convict turned reality star. She was on the Viali Files. It's a podcast. Which where his automatic download probably works perfectly. But she says that they're not even going to really say anything. They're going to give it time. They're going to see. But as far as she's concerned, the grandmother to the baby is going to be her stepmother. And she's just going to pretend, which I think that is danger. If you are going to pretend like that never happened, that is a big discovery for her to make later. Yikes. I'm going to end today's chatter with an uplifting story because I know I've really been hitting it hard on the murders and such. So listen to this story. I've told like 8 people this story because it just makes my heart so happy. It happened in China, and it kind of happened as like a whoops, uh-oh, shit. But China, people were left outraged after discovering that the pandas at the zoo in China were nothing but dogs that they had painted. And I've seen pictures, and my ass would have been duped too. But people were mad but I would have been like, look at them play. Holy crap. Because if you actually ever see a panda, they don't really do a lot. They kind of roll around occasionally. That's exciting. But these dogs were like playing if you watch the video, which again, if you watch the video episodes, I will put all these videos up. But the visitors, they were duped, and they only realized the scam at the Shanwei Zoo was oh my god. They only realized it was a scam at the zoo when one of the apparent pandas started panting and barking at people. Well, duh. Oh, see, again, these pictures are hilarious to me. Well, here's the twist, because all these zoo goers, they were shocked and they were angry and they were yelling, I would imagine. They're super pissed off and they're taking videos and posting them online. Well, guess what happened? That is now the number one attraction at this zoo. People fully know that these are actually not pandas. They know that they're dogs that are just spray painted as pandas. And they say that it is by far currently their most popular exhibit. What a way to end. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode, reminding you that there are a hell of a lot of episodes if you've missed, and damn, do they morph to all different kinds of things, all different kinds of people, all different kinds of topics. And these are just some of the things that have been going through my feed lately that I think, ooh, I just tell people about them, and I wanted to tell you. I post full episodes on the YouTube channel and also the Facebook page, and little bits and pieces all around social media. So be sure to search for Sadie Has No Friends if you want just a quick recap, or you can again watch full episodes with videos of what I'm talking about. And be sure to comment, what would you like to talk about? Is there something that's interesting to you? Because if it's not pandas that are painted as dogs, then I don't want to hear it. Thanks for listening.